Welcome into the Toyota Lounge for the DNVR Avalanche Podcast, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. We got Eric, we got Gizmo, we got Rudo. We'll be talking about the rookies for the upcoming season in this show. But before we get to that, there is a whole lot of news to talk about around the NHL today. Maybe most importantly, starting with ourselves.
Whatever could you be talking about, Rudo?
What could I be talking about? You may have noticed the guy to my left here on a couple of shows. We can now officially announce Gizmo will be joining us for the 24-25 season as a podcast host and beat reporter and doing all the hard work.
Let's go.
I just get to sit here and do a podcast, and you have to do all the hard work. So it works out great for me. But Giz, we're super excited to have you. We know you've obviously been in the business for forever, it feels like, and pretty good at what you do, too. So it should be a fun season.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, I love being a part of a family, and I love being part of a team. And when I can be part of something great like this, I mean, it's exciting for me. You and I have had a ton of fun together the last few months. I've known Eric forever and ever. So for me to get to reunite with former teammate on the broadcast world and spend some time and get to talk hockey and most importantly get to engage with all you all. I mean, I'm absolutely thrilled about it. I think I've been how's the saying go? Long time watcher, long time viewer, first time host with you guys. But I mean, it's been fun. And I mean, this is, in my opinion, without question, the best podcast out there for the Avalanche, and I just really love the connectivity with the fans, and I love engaging with the fans. That's one of my favorite things that I've always loved, even on the TV side, and now to get to be able to do it here and get to be at the arena again, and also just get to be hanging out here at the DNVR bar and watching games and talking with folks, it's like dream come true stuff.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Same. It's great to have you on the pod permanently now, and then really, I guess our content for the season kicks off with the rookie face-off next week.
Yeah.
So keep your eyes peeled for a bunch of Gizmo stuff coming up here.
Got some fun stuff.
Should be a fun time. And if you want to learn more about Gizmo, tune in to tomorrow's show. We're gonna talk to him a bunch about
lots of questions, right?
all the places you've been and all the work you've done. So
I'll keep my comments till tomorrow. That's fine.
okay, I see. The quality teammate Eric Lacroix right there, for sure.
Passing the puck. Passing the puck.
No, I like it. No, if I can add something. And you know what we're getting? We're getting a true pro, which is nice. Versatility, you know what I mean? Like, if you're looking for one word, Giz is a pro, and he's a versatile player, and he's going to be tremendous add to our podcast. And I always say, you know, we didn't lose AJ. AJ's still here. AJ's a big part of our coverage, and Rudo's masterful at what he does, and we can't forget about Tiff behind the scenes here, and we're lucky to have Tiff mostly with us all the time. I would say 99.9% of the time.
Except for when she goes to Greece on vacation.
Yeah,
but,
stuff like that, you know. But it's a tight-knit group. It's kind of fun. Looking forward to it. It's going to be an exciting season, and like you said, we can talk more about it tomorrow on his background and all that stuff. But looking forward to the rookie tournament coming up. That should be fun and should be a great experience for all the viewers and all of us, and great bonding experience too for all of us. It's always fun to get together and
get some
content out.
Nothing like a road trip. Nothing like a road trip to bond the team.
It's the way you got to kick it off.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's some other big news in the NHL today. If you haven't heard, Leon Draisaitl just signing the biggest contract in the salary cap era. 8-year, $14 million per deal, full no move clause, all that 9. First of all, is he worth every penny? Second of all, does this affect the rest of the forward market at all, or is Draisaitl kind of in a category of his own?
I mean, listen, I think he's an exceptional hockey player. I think he's instrumental to the future of that organization. We talked a little earlier, or a couple of weeks, or maybe it was a week ago, about our power rankings and where I thought that team lies. They need to live up to that, and I think that you have to have a guy like Draisaitl. So if they weren't going to pay him that money, somebody else was going to pay him that money. Yeah. And the second part of that question is, it trickles down. I mean, there's a lot of other guys that are, contracts are going to be coming up, and they're going to be looking for, my numbers are very close. But this is how the salary cap era works now. I remember when it jumped up to $11 million and everybody sort of kind of was like, okay, well,
Give me this much more money now. Yeah.
I'm worth $11 million also if
Yep.
this is what we're basing it off of. So it's the way of the world now.
I mean, tough news for him. That's a lot of money. But on the same day that Giz signs his contract with DNVR, falls
Don't
to number
think he
two.
quite got 14 mil a year with us. Yeah.
14 million.
What?
Might need to renegotiate.
Otherwise, I need a raise if you got 14 mil. All
Did
right?
not get 14 million.
there's
We're not worried about
All
that.
right, false info there. So maybe I'm wrong. It said number
Smidge
2
less than
contract.
14, just a
Draisaitl.
shy
I was thinking
of it.
Giz is one, but
Yeah.
no. But you know who's happy today? It's our good friend the Moose, Mikko Rantanen.
Oh yeah.
Can only help you. I don't care what people say. There's comparables out there. If there's one guy that he compares to in my book, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying one's better than the other. Obviously, Draisaitl is often considered like top 3 maybe. Where Mikko falls behind a little bit, but we're biased here for all the reasons. But I tell you, if you're talking money and you're talking comparables, his agent is doing backflips right now. I'm talking about Mikko's agent. So, and people are going to say, well, you're so dumb. It's UFA. No, I understand that.
Same agent, by the way.
Well, here you go. So he's doing backflips and he knows what he's setting up for. You're right, by the way. You're right. Forgot about that. But if you're Edmonton, just don't look any further than 2 years ago with the Matthew Tkachuk situation, where you're in a Canadian market. Again, I'm from Canada. I'm not bashing Canadian, but not every player wants to be in a Canadian market for all the reasons, for whatever reasons it is. Matthew, I think, had made it known, and next thing you know, he makes his way to Florida and put a lot of pressure on himself by doing so. But it delivered big time. Now, if you're Edmonton, you have the arguably top 2 player. We'll put Mac in him. I don't want to get crap on here. You got one of the top 2 players in the game at the moment, and he obviously seems to want to spend his career in Edmonton. I mean, that's what it sounds like too. And I'm sure that him and Leon had some conversations. If you're Draisaitl, of course you're ahead of them in contract negotiations. You would think that the 2 of them spend some time together, which sounds like they did. Sounds like they have a great friendship. Sounds like they work out together and all that kind of stuff. So, all of a sudden you have a player that wants to be in the city, wants to be an Oiler. You got to lock him up. I mean, you just do. Obviously, with cap projections and on where it's going to go, and I even read some today that's saying that it might be a bargain. I mean, who knows?
It's never going to be a bargain.
But that's I think you're pushing it. No, it's like, oh my God, maybe by then he's actually older and he's not producing. But I don't know. But I wouldn't say bargain, but I would say that if you're the Edmonton Oilers, you had to do what you had to do, which was to lock him up.
Can't lose Draisaitl.
You cannot lose him. He is too important to that franchise. And, they did so. Good job by Stan Bowman and, the rest of the management group, their ownership group. And, again, I like it. I like it when it's not always those big markets. And again, I love Canadian markets. I'm not bashing a Canadian market. But it's nice to see when an elite player in the league wants to stay in a market like that. I think it can only help the league to sustain its competitiveness, right? Like the imbalance or whatever it is, the balance of competitiveness. And I think it was an important signing for the league today it sounded like it was done last week, but, out of respect to the Gaudreaus and all that kind of stuff, which was a very classy move by the Edmonton Oilers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a whole other. I know we talked about it the other day on the weekend, but yeah, I mean, I think the class of the NHL, and it speaks to why I love the sport so much, to just sit on that news for just a little bit and make it come out the right way, and obviously give the Gaudreaus their time, which will never be enough, but it was smart the way they handled it, and I think the other thing about Draisaitl signing that contract, that's a team that wants to win, and for you give a guy like Draisaitl, and I know his makeup, I know the person, he's a good quality human being. You give a guy like that kind of money, I mean, that's not just a carrot in front of the nose. I mean, he's gonna dig in. I mean, you're gonna see a very motivated Leon Draisaitl this year for the Oilers trying to get them their cup.
And when if I can add one more thing, I just saw a tweet. I don't remember by who. I don't want to take credit for it. Is it NHL.com? Whatever it is, but they had shown the rankings of since his last deal, the current deal that he's on. Since then in the league, like he ranks like second in goals, second in points, first in power play points, second in playoff points. It's amazing. He's like 1 or 2 in every category. So this guy's delivered.
He's legit.
He's legit. He's delivered. Still has the best backhand pass in the history of hockey. So yeah, it's kind of nice to see a guy perform, guys get rewarded, and you're right. Probably doesn't want to sit on it. I think he wants to. Him and Connor want to bring a championship to Edmonton. That's for sure.
I do want to slide this back to the Avalanche angle since we are an Avalanche podcast with Mikko. I'm going to be honest. I don't think they're as comparable as people say. Draisaitl can play center. I know Mikko takes faceoffs. He doesn't really play center, though. He just takes the faceoffs. Draisaitl has a Hart Trophy in his trophy case. Mikko's honestly never really gotten that close to any awards like that. And don't get me wrong, Mikko's an unbelievable player. We had him in our top 10 NHL players the other week. But I don't think he's to the level of a Draisaitl. To me, kind of in my own head, the theory was I think the Avs would have loved to get Mikko under 12. I think that's dead with the Draisaitl deal, but I don't think it really pushes Mikko that much. I'm sure his camp is going to want 13. Just meet in the middle, give him 12.5, call it good. Is it that easy?
You take this first because you've been on the management side, and your father was better at it than just about anybody.
You have him on your shirt right now, so he's on your belly in a good way. What I'm trying to say is, and you're right about Draisaitl, about comparing him to, you're right. I should have explained my point a little better. I meant that he's the second best player on his team, and he is the top 10 player in the league.
Way?
Right, sure. In that way. Does that make sense?
Probably the third best player on the Avs, but sure.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Makar's best player on the planet.
Defensemen are different. It's a whole different conversation.
Okay, so leave it at he's the second best forward on the Avs. You know what I mean? So it's just, there's a lot of similarities right there. And then his contract is always before Connor McDavid. So it's very similar here. He's before Nate, McKinnon. So there's a lot of comparables. You're right. I think as a player, as much as I love the Moose, to be fair, not to be biased, I think 32 GMs out of 32 take Leon Draisaitl, which is sure. It's all good. And again, I'm not that naive. But you're right. And as much as is it that easy? It sure looks like it sometimes because you're like, oh my God, that ended up at that number, and you could have told you. But sometimes it's just like splitting the atom. You know what I mean? And it's like justification of research and all the above and everything, and to make sure that you did your homework, and
sure,
it's interesting, and then usually, then if you end up at that most logical number, then it's good. That means that you both did your homework. That means you both came to understanding, and you always feel. Here's the way I've always said, working in management. You always feel that you give too much, and as a player, you always feel that you didn't get enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Department of Player Safety. You know what I mean? Like you're never going to be happy. You know what I mean?
What's the old adage? If the definition of a fair deal is when both parties feel like they got screwed.
Yeah.
So
Brian Burke's got the best expressions about those things, and you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Obviously, when you signed the deal, you're excited. I'm sure Draisaitl was excited. I'm sure Mikko will be excited once he signed his new deal. But you're right. Sometimes it feels like. You're in Denver, you're trying to get to Fort Collins, but you go through Pueblo, and then you're like, oh, my God, did I really need to go that way? You know what I mean? So, again, my geography was really good there. It was really good. I didn't fail. I didn't take geography, but...
Smart man. You're a very smart man.
Yeah.
Underestimated on that, I think, sometimes.
Could you point out Europe on a map?
Somewhere.
Mikko's from Finland. Can you find it?
Next to Sweden.
True.
Ish.
Not wrong, I guess.
Where is that? I don't know.
That way. East of here.
It's that way.
East.
Yeah.
Shorter flight from New York.
You passed geography. I agree. You're
Thanks.
good. You're in there.
Appreciate it.
We do have some more news to get to, but before we do, we are brought to you by the fantastic folks over at UC Health with their new Ready, Set, Co program. It's being led by Coach Prime himself, the one and only CU Buffs now. The whole plan with the Ready, Set, Co thing is just to get Colorado healthy and back to the healthiest state in the country. So make sure you join in with UC Health and Coach Prime as the Prime Motivation Officer when it comes to Ready, Set, Co. I know a lot of people are on all of their own health journeys. I myself have been trying to lose a bunch of weight this year. I'm down like 35 pounds, so you can do it. And if you need some of that motivation, or you got Mindfulness Prime, he's got a bunch of different alter egos that can help you in whatever your health journey might be. Go check it out today if you haven't gotten in on that. Take care of yourself. Just do those little things, and you'll get healthier. If you want to join the UC Health Ready, Set, Co Challenge, click the link in the show notes or go to uchealth.org/Ready, Set, Co. Once you decided to make yourself a little bit healthier every single day, put Colorado back on top in that regard, make sure you're also getting yourself out to the trails in the best way possible with a Toyota. They have over 17 all-wheel drive vehicles and tons of options from trucks, SUVs, and sedans, every type of car you can imagine. You can get the official vehicle of DNVR at your local Toyota stores, and they're also the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. Today actually marks officially 1 month until the start of the NHL season. Technically, that's all the games in Europe. The Avs don't really start till October 9th, but technically 1 month until the NHL season starts.
Wow.
So it's going to come up on you quick.
Wow.
I'm telling you. Jump in with a Toyota before then. Of course, go visit all of your local Front Range Toyota dealerships, including, but not limited to, AutoNation Toyota in Arapahoe. Hold on. I just scrolled and lost my list. Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Group Toyota, Littleton, Mount States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Moving on from the Mikko conversation, a couple of other NHL news pieces today. The St. Louis Blues lose Torey Krug to an ankle surgery. He will be out the entire season. I guess the Broberg offer sheet makes a little bit more sense. They probably had some inkling that Krug was going to miss a good amount of time. They're still kind of a bad defense, but, you know.
It's a loss for them. I mean, Torey, fabric of that back end, right? So
Yep.
I think, losing him for the whole year is a bummer. I know him well personally, back at his Michigan State days, and not great guy in the room too. Like all the boys just love him. Like he's the clown a little bit, and so I think you lose what you lose with him on the ice. But then that's a piece out of the room that's going to hurt you too, in a weird year for them.
Yep.
I kind of I don't like the fact that a player is injured. That's not what I'm saying. But I think you saw with Gabe last year, it's kind of nice to know that, put the injury aside, it sucks. Sure. It sucks for the person.
But you
it
have
sucks
a
for
real
the team.
timeline with it.
But you have a real timeline. Mm-hmm. Who knows where the St. Louis Blues might be, right? I mean, I'm sure we're going to do... Exactly. We're going to do... But you never know, right? And the next thing you know, if they need to do something, then, they know he's not there. Sure. It's not like you're hoping someone comes in at the deadline, someone comes in at a certain time. I think that you know what you need to do. And like you said, their blue line needs to be bolstered a little bit, obviously, or a lot, depending on how you like their players. But we'll get to the projections and, or whatever, all that kind of stuff, that where we think teams are going to be. But I like the fact that not a player is injured. That sucks. I like the fact when you have a real timeline and you're not hoping for something. We lived there with Gabe 2 years ago. There's false hope. There's false whatever it is. And I'm not comparing Gabe to Torey Krug. I'm saying that, but when you're an important piece of a back end or a forward core, and especially the leadership group, sounds like Torey Krug is a big part of their leadership group too, for his years in Boston and everything.
Yeah.
You're not waiting on something. It's not coming. So that's the part I'm saying that I like. I like that they have a timeline and they're not expecting him. I don't like the injury, that's for sure. You don't wish that on anybody.
Yep. I mean, obviously, you'd rather have all your opponents be fully healthy, go best on best. But one less guy the Avs have to worry about in the Central Division, I guess, too. So
True.
you don't like it, but you're not going to complain about an advantage.
It's an advantage. I mean, Torey's a good player. I mean, look at what he did when he was with Boston for so long. I mean, he helped them in massive ways. I don't think he actually got enough credit for the player that he was in Boston. And then, obviously, I think he made a pretty immediate impact when he got to St. Louis. And, he's always a guy he's there. Like, Torey Krug made a name for himself. Small guy, digs in, works hard, hits hard. Does all the right things, moves the puck well, sees the ice well, gets under opponent's skin. That's a huge loss, definitely.
It's one of the best clips over the last, 4 or 5 years ago when, remember, he gets hit and then he goes all the way down the other end. Is it David Perron or I don't remember who it was, but
yeah,
I think it was Perron.
It was Perron. Like
Perron.
it's a great scene. Like, hey, that's hockey right there. You know what I mean? It's awesome.
Yeah, he didn't back off, and he didn't even come from like typically the guys that in the NHL that are a little tougher, a little grittier, come from that major junior route in the Canadian Hockey League, or OHL guys are always tough guys. He played, Michigan State University. He was not that I'm not saying college hockey isn't as physical or as tough. Those guys hit hard, but it's just there's no fighting. There's no, it's just a little different.
Different game.
Yeah.
The last couple of bits, some Avalanche news for the day. Nothing to really dive into too much, but the KHL season started today. Avs goalie prospect from the second round from the 2024 draft, Ilya Nabokov, started. Ended up losing the game 3-2, but if you're desperate for hockey action like I am, the KHL is now an option for you to watch. And you got some Avs prospects in there with Nabokov, and tomorrow Gulyev's season starts. So some Avalanche technically related hockey to watch if you're desperate. Put it to you that way. And then the other news, the Avs announcing officially their training camp schedule starting September 19th. I guess media day is the 18th, the day before. But that'll all roll in together with a rookie face-off, which is the 13th to the 16th, too, with a practice day on the 12th here in Colorado. So should be pretty soon here, a bunch of ramping up hockey stuff here in Colorado. I'm excited for it. You can find us down at the rink for all of their training camp and stuff like that. So if you see us at the rink next week or the week after, make sure you come say hi.
Yeah, and I'm excited to meet, kind of going back to my news and signing on, I'm excited to meet everybody. So by all means, please come up, say hi. I love a lot of things. I really love talking about hockey, and I really like meeting new people. So
you better on this show.
Don't be shy. Come say what's up, and we'll chat.
It should be fun, too, in L.A. with the new addition, right? Seattle jumping in, so that'll be fun. So
yeah.
Macklin Celebrini, first overall pick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
BU Terrier, not a big deal. Should be fun times, so we're going to have a good time there. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah. Be good to live there for a long time. Got some friends out there, some friends on the other side. Be nice to catch up with everybody. And hockey in LA is not a bad thing.
It's always fun.
Oh, yeah.
If it's anything like Vegas was last year, it'll be a blast. So
do a segment from the Strand, maybe, in Manhattan Beach. Not a big deal. Not a big deal.
Nice. Must be nice, buddy. Must be nice. I've never lived near a beach, so I wouldn't know.
Great beach.
Great beach.
Also, a perfect segue into our actual topic for today, talking about the upcoming NHL rookies for this season. I'll just ask you straight up. Do you think there's a rookie out there where expectations are higher than Macklin Celebrini this year? Or is he the presumptive Calder winner today?
I don't. I think he's going to be great. I think he's excited. He's such an affable guy, too, and is he talented. He's fun to watch. I don't really see anybody. If he doesn't win the Calder at the end of the year, I would be shocked.
All right.
Oh, boy. Here we
Let's be
go.
controversial.
Not content.
Let's be
He might not agree with me fully, which is surprising.
No, it's fine.
Because especially given the love of
Yeah, the BU side.
I was going to put a little controversy here.
All
A little
right.
controversy.
Throw it out.
Again, we have PHLY, right? Michkov, you can't spit on, right? You know what I mean? Like, I think with him, probably a better supporting cast than Macklin.
Yeah, San Jose is going to be bad again this year for sure.
Yeah, didn't want to say it. You said it. Blame him. Michkov, better surrounded. Torts, I love him. You guys know that. I'm a big John Tortorella fan. But sometimes he's got to break you. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see how the marriage is going to go. Not that the kid is a bad kid and you just knew you're a young kid. You come from a different country, different culture, different set of skills, right? He's so skilled, and who knows, right? It might take him a little bit of time to adjust to, let's say, the way Torts wants him to play. So I'll put that one on the side. But then I'm going to go, and again, I'm sure we're going to touch on a bunch of guys here, but what if we have a battle of freaking Terriers versus BC Eagles? What if? Because in my book, Macklin is going to be right there, and don't freaking forget about Lane Hudson.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. And then on the BC side of things, sorry we don't have any DU guys, or else I'd throw a DU in there. But you have Cutter Gauthier, which is a different story on its own. Come on, he scored 40 last year. I mean, I'm saying 39, whatever it was. And Will Smith, you talk about swag? Like Will Smith, he's got swag. And then Will and Macklin, totally different than Michkov, because San Jose's in a different place, and they're going to be given every opportunity to mess up and to be creative and to, you know what I mean? So your season might not look better in wins and losses, but it might look better in points, right? Does that make sense? So, which might make you win the award. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to keep talking about this, but I'd like to turn this into a Eagle versus Terrier. You know what I mean? With a little bit of Minchkov in there.
Well, I love that you brought up Will Smith because, yes, I think Macklin is the one everyone's looking to because he was a first overall pick. But I think you could make an argument that he might not even be the best rookie on the Sharks. Will Smith has that extra year of experience, is a year older. And don't get me wrong, you can have unbelievable players in the NHL at age 18. Connor Bedard did it last year. But sometimes you see those guys start a little bit slow in that adjustment to the NHL, which could open a door for somebody like Will Smith.
Well, I like Will Smith. I've liked Will Smith all the way back to the NTDP days. And then he was obviously a standout in college. Yeah, I mean, Will Smith, he's for sure in the conversation. And he's going to feed off of that cast around him as well, and of course Macklin. So that could be a fun little adventure there. Actually, I was so excited about what Celebrini's going to bring to the NHL this year, and just watching him play, because I love watching him play.
Yeah.
But Smokes, Will Smith could 100% get in that conversation very sneakily.
I mean, if you look at it, he's a year young. And again, I'm a big Macklin fan. Would it surprise me that he wins it? Absolutely not. But I'm going to compare him and Will Smith. If you go back last year, Will Smith had more points than Macklin. People tend to forget that, but he's a year older, right? His draft year was the year before, going 4 to the Sharks, right?
Yep.
Four, yeah.
Yeah, 4.
So Macklin goes 1 to the Sharks this year, a bit younger. Macklin does all that stuff last year as a 17-year-old in college hockey, which is absurd. Guys are so young. And by the way, like, freaking Cole Eiserman just turned 18 this weekend. It's like, what? Or this, I did not know he was almost on the next draft. It's like 10 days away from, like, the Austin Matthews.
September 15th is the date. So.
Crazy. But anyway, I do believe that I'm going to compare Smith and Celebrini to maybe something like this. Taze and Kane. You know what I mean? Like Will Smith having more like the Patty Kane Flair Showtime, you know what I mean? And Taze more like Macklin, the two-way player, the 200-foot game, Mr. Like, you know, so smart, so important, sentiment, you know what I mean? Like catalyst to cups, you know what I mean? So I think those two will be dangerous together. I'd heard maybe they're going to live together this year too, something like that. That's what I heard. Which, I mean, you can only, you know, the friendship, and it helps you on the ice. I can see those two making a lot of freaking waves. Is it going to start this year? Time will tell. But again, the supporting cast is just, I mean, adding Tyler Toffoli was a big thing, but, you know, we'll get back here and a little dissect more and on the other guys here coming up.
Yeah, and I like the comparison to Tazer and Kaner. I mean, those two guys competitive with each other, about the best of friends. And obviously the results for the Chicago Blackhawks for all those years were exceptional, and it doesn't get much closer than those two guys. I mean, they were right next to each other the entire time. I mean, I spent 3 years in Chicago, and those guys were A and B. Yeah.
Yep. It. I don't love that for the Avs that in 5 years the Sharks might have a combo like that.
Oh, yeah.
For now, it'll be fun to watch them be good on a really bad team. So that's fine.
They're going to stand out. They're definitely going to have some ice time.
The funny thing is, these aren't even the last of the rookies I want to talk about with San Jose, but we'll get to the other one after we talk about Coors Light. Look, I don't know if you can officially call it hockey season just yet, but when you get there, make sure you're chilling, watching the hockey game with Coors Light in your hand. Enjoy the beer literally made to chill. The mountains turn blue right on the can or the bottle with Coors Light. And the coolest part is you don't even have to go get it. You can get it delivered right to your front door. You get home from work at 5, maybe puck drops at 5:30. Coors Light ends up right on your porch. You don't even have to miss a second of the hockey game to get some and be drinking it right on your couch. So go check out Coors Light today. Get the beer literally made to chill. It's the beer I reach for. You can't really see it in the shop, but we got a whole bucket of Coors Light right there on set. Yeah, there you go. Ready to go. I'll be drinking those during the watch-alongs this year. So go check out Coors Light today. Again, CoorsLight.com/DNVR to get Instacart deliver it right to your front door. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Please drink responsibly. And then a beer in one hand, make sure you got your phone to bet in the other hand with Bet365. Throw your bets down. Maybe you can even bet on who's going to win the Calder. This show guaranteed 100% not accurate with their betting information. So maybe don't listen to us, but if you have an inkling, go put a bet down with Bet365. And when you do, make sure you sign up with the DNVR365 code. They've upped their bonus. If you're a new account with the DNVR365 code and you bet $5 on anything, they'll give you $200 in bonus bets to play with. That's just free money to gamble with. If you lose it, doesn't matter. It was free money. If you make money with it, you have free money. Good job. Either way, I
like free money.
Yeah, exactly.
Big fan of free money.
You're either had fun with free money or you got some free money.
Yeah.
So it's a win either way with Bet365. Use that QR code on screen now to download their app. And of course, when you bet with Bet365, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. This is going to get into a conversation about the Calder Trophy that we'll talk about it in a minute. Yaroslav Askarov is a rookie, technically, for this upcoming season, also with San Jose. Can a goalie realistically compete for the Calder Trophy, or is it just too hard for them because of the position they play?
I don't think so. You gotta really do something special if the San Jose Sharks make the playoffs and go on a smidge of a run. You're voted out actually before that actually, so you can't even really count the playoffs. But I mean,
even if they get in,
just to get in, I guess maybe he's in the conversation. But I know you're gonna chime in on this because your son's a goalie. Love you, Max. By the way, hi kiddo. But I don't think so.
Yeah.
Which is not fair because it's a hard.
Well, first of all,
position.
the team in front of them is Askarov. Yeah, I think they're going to take their time with him. Even though, I read something Mike Greer said last week. They have expectations for him. They have a plan set up. And I think the kid even said if he needs to go down to the American League, he will. Which he's saying before that in San Jose, but he wouldn't do it for Milwaukee with Nashville, right? It was putting a little pressure for. Saros signed for an 8-year deal, so of course,
Writing was on the wall. There,
yeah, it's like really, you know what I mean? Like, and again, I think he was. I don't think he made a lot of noise. I think it was done properly. Sounds like it. I don't know how it was behind the scenes, but it sounded like it worked out good, and it worked out for both teams. So with Askarov, that's my point. Now, to win it as a goalie, it's a great question. I think your team has to be more solid. I think you need a little bit more help. You're talking about those grade A chances, and probably going to be up there, in grade A chances given. Your save aboves, whatever it is, like expected.
Defense is pretty tough, man.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. So now your numbers will have to be sick in those expected saves or whatever, whatever that stat is. So again, you do that, you win games, maybe. I don't see it. The only guy I would throw in the dark horse in there, how good is Calgary going to be?
Yeah, this is exactly what I was going to bring up next.
I mean, if there's one kid that can do it, it's Dustin Wolf.
Yeah, you said that last year too, though.
No, I know, but again, he played the majority of the year. No, I said, what's his name? Devin Levi was going to win the Calder.
You did say Levi.
I did say
true.
Levi,
Yeah.
which he didn't do well. I still like him.
Not great.
I'm saying, but Dustin Wolf has done it every year, and in juniors. Then he went. He's paid his dues for 2 years in the American Hockey League, and he's had incredible success. Got his feet wet a little bit in the national level. Last year, if you look at his numbers, not the greatest. They're not the greatest, but their team was, as we know, not the greatest. This year, what do you expect out of the Calgary Flames? I don't know. I mean, they still have some decent players. You know what I mean? From Kadri on to guys that want to be Flames. So who knows where it's going to go? But he's got the opportunity to get some games in too, because he's going to fight with Danny Vladar. Markstrom's gone, so him and Vladar are going to fight for it. Therefore, gives him a chance to carry the load, but not for 60, 70 games. What if he goes 40-40, has an incredible year? Maybe that is your, like your Calder Trophy nominee. He's the dark horse for me, coming in the back door there a little bit. But it's a guy, he's smaller in stature, but has always had the odds against him, always finds a way to fight it. And, I can see this guy as sleeping in. If you're asking me as a goaltender, that would be my number one guy that could slide into the conversation of, maybe a finalist. Does he win it? I think Calgary will tell us how things can go that way, but I think this is a guy that can slide in. I'm not saying he will, but if you were going to put a goalie in, that would be your bet 365 guy to put in.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's going to be in the conversation, but I just don't think there's going to be any. I think it's going to be really hard, especially based on the situation he's in. To have a standout year and really make himself look unbelievable, especially when tons of the attention is going to be focused in on, Macklin and then, Smith. But
it's just kind of the reality of the position, right? It turns out really good teams don't put a rookie goaltender in net very often.
Right.
So
it's rare, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember Tom Barrasso back then in the 90s.
That's way back.
Patty Waugh. And again, Patty Waugh played 38 games. It's not in front of me. I would say it's in the 30s. It's not like he played 80. You know what I mean?
There's never been a goalie that's won the Calder, right?
Steve Mason did it in 2009. I was just looking.
Did he?
Tom
Yep.
Barrasso.
Well,
Tom Barrasso won.
Barrasso did
I was
too?
He won
2
the
years
Vezina
old when that happened.
Oh, no. He won the Vezina
Wow.
and the Calder.
Okay.
But
There you
it's
go.
been 15 years since
Yeah.
the last goalie to win the
Which
Calder.
he
and
was
it
on a freaking tear, Steve Mason. It
does
was
not,
unbelievable.
Yeah, it does not happen very often.
Yeah,
for
I
the
should
record.
actually know that.
What a hot
Steve
start
Mason.
to his career.
That's right.
Goofy goalie.
Yeah.
Injuries, I think, got to him. But what a start! Oh my God, it's crazy.
Well, Ed Belfour did it in 91 as well,
Older guy too, though.
for the record. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't young, but and again, he wasn't 55, but he wasn't like 18.
There you go.
Well, and that's kind of the conversation I wanted to get to next, right? There's always some guys that sneak in that are a little bit older. I think it was in 21 that Kaprizov won it as an older guy. Panarin did it as a little bit of an older guy too when he came over. You don't really have that guy this year. It's Michkov that's the big come over, and he's pretty young from that side of things. So I don't know that there will really be anyone pushing from that older group of rookies, if you want to call it that. But I guess let me guys ask you this. Do you think that should be limited with the Calder? Do you think 27 is too old for an upper limit range of age for a rookie trophy?
Yeah, I mean, back then, you got to remember, I remember Sergei Makarov. I think he was in his 30s. And then you have Peter Stastny, Paul Stastny's dad. You know what I mean? Kind of weird.
Well, we're not in that era anymore, right?
That's my point. But what's the limit now? Is there
I believe it's 27 and 25 NHL games played before the season are the two limitations on it. But as I'm sure you know well, Giz, the Detroit model of, we're going to let these guys sit in the AHL for 4, 5, 6 years until they're 23, 24, 25 doesn't really happen anymore for most of the higher end prospects these kids are getting in the league at 20, 21, sometimes younger, 19, 18 with the really high-end picks.
Yeah, I think the NHL is really, really hard. I think it's really, really hard to make it and then be a standout in the NHL. So the age thing doesn't bug me. Like if you can show up, everybody, whatever, you develop at different paces and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, if you're a 24-year-old going up against a 19-year-old and you're scoring more goals, I mean, so be it. I mean, it's the best player, the best rookie player in the NHL. So, go for it. The age thing doesn't bug me. It doesn't bug me at all, actually.
Okay, fair enough.
It doesn't. I think if you can succeed at something, then you should be rewarded for it. And if it's your first time in the NHL, whether you're 25 or 19, it's hard. It's a lifestyle
No
change.
doubt about that, yeah.
It's a different level of hockey, and you got to be good. Real good.
Yeah, and you're right. Like you said, Kaprizov, how old was he?
I think he was 25.
Yeah. So if you're 18, you're having a great year, it's like, well, so be it. You know what I mean? It's just luck of the draw, right? You know what I mean? Unluck of the draw, right? But then again, you come from a different league and you're older, and I mean, go back to the Vegas days, the first year, or whatever his name is. Remember the Russian Sidney Crosby, and the guy couldn't play worth a lick in the NHL.
Is that Dadonov? I forget.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Oh,
I forget his name.
my God. Like, again, he was older. Everybody was like, he's going to win the Calder, even though he's 25 or 26 or whatever he was, 27. What a bad experiment that was. You know what I mean? So you never know. You got to go play. Rudo says all the time, you got to go play the games, right? You know what I mean?
That's my point.
I agree. It mixes in with that point. So you got to go play the game. You got to live up to expectations or not. And some guys, I mean, God, it might be more well-surrounded. Don't look any further than last week's signing. McGroarty, I have a hard time.
Oh, yeah, the Winnipeg trade,
I'm just saying, he might be, on the line with freaking Geno Malkin or Sidney Crosby. I'm saying, I'm not downplaying the player's talent. I'm saying that you might be in a better situation than, I don't think Pittsburgh's going to lose every game. They might not be as good as they were, but a guy like that might be more well-surrounded and all of a sudden have less pressure. And when I say pressure, you know what I mean. Yeah. And, again, Macklin Celebrini, do I love him? I think he's outstanding. But if you're going to go fill in the shoes of a number one center in the NHL, so you're 18 years old, barely 18, you're going to go be a number one center. Every night you're going to play against Makar. I mean, I'm just saying, it's not easy to be at the forefront. So when you're not well-surrounded, don't disrespect Tyler Toffoli and guys like that. That's not what I'm saying. But you're talking about Sidney Crosby, one of the premier players still in the game. You know what I mean? Your responsibilities, if you're McGraw, are a lot less than if you're Macklin or Will Smith. So all of a sudden, does that mean you'll have a better career than them? No, but you might have a better first year, stats-wise. So those are guys you can't just kind of overlook. You know what I mean? And you got to remember, it's a long year. A lot of guys start freaking October, and then by December, you don't really see them anymore. You know what I mean? It's a long year. It's an adjustment. And you just said it. The National Hockey League is a hard league. It is freaking hard. And yes, we're all fans. Those players are fans of the games. And when you're in it, it's a grind. It's hard. Players are good. You might go on a hot streak. You might, but the hardest thing to do is to be consistent. And when you're young, the toughest thing, if you ask Jared Bednar right now, hey, over your 8-9 years, whatever, what's the hardest thing you've seen for younger players to achieve? He'll tell you, and consistency. It is the toughest thing to do. It is the toughest thing to achieve. It's hard.
I mean, that goes beyond just one season with the Calder. I think Nathan McKinnon's a great example of.
There you go.
Had an unbelievable rookie year Calder season, and then spent the next 3 years kind of being just okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And obviously now he's one of the best players in the world, so he got there in the end, but it takes some time for even some of the best players in the world to really get to that level. With the Calder Trophy, I know the Avs have won it a lot. But I really don't put that much stock into a Calder Trophy, if I'm honest with you. It's great that you were the best rookie in the league, but do the players care about the Calder Trophy? Is that a thing that rookies actually are gunning for and really try to get, or is that just another thing in the trophy case?
I mean, these guys are ultra competitive, right? I don't think for one second
I have no doubt that they want to win.
Connor Bedard is like, well, if I'm going to do this, I want to be the guy.
Yeah.
I think any trophy in the NHL is super prestigious, and obviously the lore and the history of it, and just the honor that goes along with it to be, in there with names that you probably looked up to as a kid. I think that matters to them. I don't know. Sometimes there's a little bonus money built in if you knock down a trophy like that. You kind of get a little extra in the summer paycheck. But I think they do want to win it. I don't think there's this. I mean, I think every single guy will tell you that it doesn't matter and that they want to see the team do well, and that if they win the Calder, that means they contributed to their team and the overall health of the organization. And I think that probably plays into a bigger role than the individual of it all. Same as winning the Conn Smythe, right? Nobody tells you that they want to win it, but they're certainly proud of it. I mean, one of my very best friends on the entire planet, Justin Williams, when he won it, I mean, I watched his reaction. I was in the arena, and I watched it from the stands, and it was the most emotional that I've ever seen him, aside from when his two wonderful children were born. So, I don't think, he ever thought, I want to win the Conn Smythe. But when he won it, it was like, oh, wow. And I think the same's probably true for the Calder.
All right. Fair enough. I do think there are some awards that are a little... I don't think anyone super cares about getting the Marc Messier Leadership Award or anything like that. But
it's probably not on the...
not on the list.
Not on your bucket list of things to do before you retire in the NHL. Nothing against Mark. But.
All right, Gress should have a freaking trophy named after him. I said it.
That is a little... I would agree with that.
That Mess has one and Gretz doesn't.
Gretzky trophy just yet.
He's got one in the OHL.
I will tell you that speaking of Justin Williams, he was up for the Marc Messier Leadership Award, and he was not thrilled that he didn't win.
Yeah, so there you go.
You know, and actually he might have had a conversation with Gretz later, or with Mess later that night in Vegas at a pool party, if I recall correctly.
Can't take it out of pro athletes. They always want to compete, I guess.
I was like, okay. Yeah, he's upset.
If you want to win trophies in the NHL, you got to start from the ground up and build a good base. And you could do that in your home with Empire Today. Go get your flooring. Get it all in. They do the flooring for a bunch of our studios, not just here in DNVR, but our sister sites like PHNX and PHLY too. So we know they're a great product because we use them here in studio. Go get with them again at EmpireToday.com/DNVR to let them know we sent you over there. And you can get $350 off some new floors with Empire Today. Of course, Empire is the easiest place to shop. You can shop at home with their online installation guides, as well as they have a whole 3D rendering setup where you can measure out your space and then put flooring in so you can see what it'll look like in your rooms. It's super cool, honestly. When I was a younger, poorer person, I would do stuff like that and be like, yeah, someday I'll be able to buy things like
hardwood flooring.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you're a kid, you're all excited about a pack of cards. And now I'm like, that dishwasher's sick.
Oh, man.
What do you mean the fridge is going to tell me when I'm out of milk?
You know you become an adult when you're like, yes, appliances. Oh, yeah.
Flooring.
Get with Empire Today, though. Make sure you go either give them a call at the number 1-800-588-2300-EMPIRE. I'm not doing the jingle because I can't sing. Sorry.
I was really hoping you did the jingle.
It would be awful. I have done it on previous shows. It's awful. But make sure you get with Empire Today, and you can schedule a free in-home estimate and get that $350 discount with code DNVR. Of course, restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/DNVR for details. All right. Also brought to you by us here at DNVR. With Giz on board, like I mentioned, we've got a bunch of content coming your way, especially starting next week as things ramp up to the hockey season. But also, we have tons of events to do, too, like the Colorado Avalanche takeovers for Ball Arena. Our first one on 11/15 against Washington. It's going to be a super fun time. I've been saying, maybe that lines up with the Gabe Landeskog return. I'm just saying you're going to want to show out for that, But also, we got some other cool things in the works. I don't want to spoil anything, but you might be able to get to watch a hockey game with some pretty cool people if you want to go to the takeovers. So come join us for that. Of course, we have tons of other events as well, whether it's watch-alongs here at the bar or other sporting events, too, through the Nuggets and the Broncos and the Buffs, all that good stuff. So come support us here at DNVR and show out to some of our events. Last period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. I saved this topic for last, kind of, and I'll be honest with you. I don't think any of us really believe that he will be anywhere near the Calder conversation, but if we're in fantasy land a little bit, things go really, really well. Cal Ritchie? Maybe not a Calder guy, but could he be like a top 5, top 10 rookie this year?
Yeah, I'm going to jump in, but before, AJ just texted me, Shipachyov was the guy we were talking about.
Shipachyov.
And then
that was we were there for that. That was brutal. So much so that I forgot about the guy, how much drama that created.
It didn't end up nicely. It was not good anyway.
Oof.
But, and also, I always say it on the chat, I can't read. You know what I mean? So I need Tiff's glasses.
He needs glasses for sure.
I can read. I just can't see. Is AJ being a menace down there? Because all I see is AJ Haefele. Is he being a menace?
No, he put Shipachyov in there. And
he did.
He said
Ship,
Jimmy Howard almost won the Calder too.
True.
Yeah.
At age 35 or whatever.
Like we said at the start of the show, our boy AJ's still around.
AJ's the man.
AJ's the man. All right. To answer your question, boy, oh boy. I feel if there's 1 year, this is a year where a dark horse comes in. You know what I mean? And could it be a guy like Ritchie? I think training camp will be telling for him. We've been talking about him. I'm so excited to talk about him.
There's a very real chance that he doesn't even make the team.
That's my point. But. I think training camp will be telling for him. He's never been to a training camp, right, besides being a spectator last year. It's about opportunity. It's about, again, make decisions. You're going to hear us say it so many times here the next freaking 4 to 6 weeks. You know what I mean? Make them make decisions, them being management. All he has to do is just come in, give it his best, don't count, don't analyze, go out there. If you're put in positions with solid players and then you're starting to produce, and awesome. Why not? I've seen worse things happen. And if you're not ready, then you're not ready. You know what I mean? And time will tell. But I think this could be a year of the dark horse. I was talking about Dustin Wolf as a dark horse, as a goalie. You might see a guy like Cal Ritchie because of opportunity. You know what I mean? So who knows if he's ready to take on an opportunity that might be presented to him. We'll see. And you got to remember, the Avalanche are in a different position than the San Jose Sharks.
Yep.
Than the Philadelphia Flyers. And that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It can help you. Like I said, McGroarty, it might help you. But you got to remember, aspirations here in Colorado is you win the Stanley Cup. And Jared Bednar is not waiting to see if you're up to snuff. You know what I mean? So time will tell. His training camp will be very telling, and we'll see where he's at that time.
I don't want to downplay him because I do think he could be a very good player, but in a world where he makes the team, and again, we're in fantasy land here, these are not real expectations for someone like Cal Ritchie this season. But you mentioned the opportunity. First month of this season, Avs unlikely to have Gabe Landeskog, certainly not to start the season. We know Val is out for at least the first month of the season. Sounds like Lehkonen is progressing well, but who knows if he'll be ready for opening night. There are some open spots there, and if the perfect storm happens and Ritchie makes the team and there's some open spots, like you said, this is not a Celebrini situation where they're saying, hey, you have to carry this team. It's you or nobody. This is Cal Ritchie gets in, maybe he gets thrown into the top 6. He looks over to Nathan McKinnon or Mikko Rantanen and say, hey, just put your stick on the ice and I'll get you 40 points this year.
Sure. And I think like you're saying, you make the team. Guys like that are ultra motivated, right? So once you're there, you made them make a decision. Now you just run with it.
Yep.
Who knows what happens
if it clicks right away, then all of a sudden you stick with it. Exactly.
And I'm never going to say, put your stick down and you're playing with those great players, and next thing you know, you get points. You know me. I've said it again. I'll say it again. And I've said it many times. You have to be able to play,
of course,
with good players. And some guys can't. They just can't because they're not smart enough. They don't have the IQ. That's why guys like Lecky, so smart, can play with a lunch pail type guy and can play with Nathan McKinnon. And you got guys like Nathan McKinnon that, coach, I'll play with Arthur Lehkonen any day, right? Because they're so wanted. With that said, what I'm trying to say is, but when you're put in a position, fantasy world, Cal Ritchie, you're out there and you get some power play, whatever it is. There's McCarrs, there's Rantanen, there's Middlestat, there's McKinnon. Our good buddy, Giz's good buddy, one of my former teammates, but was a goaltender, Grant Fuhr. Got 15 points one year.
Grant Fuhr.
I'm just saying, if you're playing with good players, he's a goaltender. He had 15 points. Give and take. Look it up. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe it's 13. Maybe it's 17. But I can tell you he had about 15 points one year. And I was like, how the frickin' frack did you get 15 points? And he's like, buddy, just flip it up right in the middle and then let the guys go on a breakaway and shorthanded. I think he had like 8 shorthanded points. So when the opportunity is there with good players and you're good and you're smart, points might be there for you. We'll see.
One of the greatest humans on the planet as well is Grant Fuhr. Can't wait to have him on the show soon. He's a rock star. I'm lucky enough I get to spend some time with him. Those are always pinch me moments. It's like, oh, it's Grant Fuhr.
I got to look it up.
It's still weird to be, when I get to interview people.
Yeah, right?
That's part of the job now. It's just a normal thing that happens. It's wild.
We can talk more about it tomorrow when you ask me a bunch of questions.
We will.
I got to do 3 ice for a little bit in the summers for a couple years.
Nice.
And all these teams are coached by Hall of Famers.
Yep.
And there was one night we're back at the hotel after the broadcast and we're hanging out and I'm sitting there with Grant Fuhr and Guy Carbonneau and John LeClaire and Ryan Trottier, and they're all swapping like Stanley Cup stories, and Bob Aries hanging out, and I'm just like, how the hell did I get here? And what am I doing here? You just sit there like I was like a little kid, like I had like the popcorn bucket. I was like the meme. I was like, tell me more.
Go on.
Yes, I'm listening. It's
well,
fun.
Who knows?
How many points? 15?
No, it's just. Oh, there you go. 14 assists one year.
14 assists.
14 assists.
14 assists, 83, 84. 14 assists in 43 games. 45 games.
Yeah.
14 assists.
There was a year where he played every game, too.
Oh, in St. Louis, he played 79.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hell of a golfer, too, by the way.
Freaking.
What's it like being a good athlete? Couldn't be me.
Don't know it. Couldn't tell you either. I can talk about it.
Sure, buddy.
Can't really execute
You
it.
were a good athlete. I know.
He's
I know. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
He's basically got 50 points in his career. 50.
Incredible.
Are you serious?
Let's go.
Come on.
So, I do think Celebrini is and should be the favorite to win the Calder, but maybe it's not quite as clear-cut as some people might think. With guys like Michkov, we didn't even really talk about Cutter Gauthier. Certainly a guy I know some people are rooting against, but still probably going to be a pretty good hockey player.
I'm watching that game against Philly, the first game.
Someone's going to run him in
100%.
that game for sure. But
we got to talk to PHLY guys that day. I want to know what's going on.
Torts might go fight him himself. We'll see.
But he got like 38 or whatever. The most goals in college hockey last year. So then again, it translates usually when you're a high profile game too. That's why I say Will Smith, had more points than Macklin, last year in college hockey.
Also a year older.
That's my point. I'm not saying better career. I'm saying first year, right? Because that's what the Calder is.
Yep.
I don't think
first year.
Yeah, I don't think Macklin is like last year I would have told you that there's no chance it's not Connor Bedard.
But Bedard was kind of a singularity in that way. He's one of those drafted players where you're like, he's, I don't want to say generational, but he's clearly just better than everyone else in this draft.
Really good player.
Yeah.
And then you have Faber that came in, right? Like people last summer probably didn't talk about Brock Faber as a finalist. Some even said it might be the winner, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Who was it? Faber?
I forget who the third was.
Man, I'm having a blank right now.
Not a big deal.
Summer jitters.
Either way, we do have to wrap up today's show on rookies, but it was a fun little topic. Could have got into it more, but, news happens. So It's the way things go sometimes on these shows, especially in the summer. But plenty more coming to you for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, we'll talk more with Giz. You'll get to know the newest member of the DNVR Avalanche. Then we got some interviews and some other fun shows later in the week. So join us for that. One last thing. I just put out a video today looking at the best and worst first-round drafting teams in the NHL. Spoiler alert, the Avs are kind of in the middle somewhere. Not terrible, not great. So go check out that video, too. Give us a like, subscribe here on YouTube. That helps us out a ton. We're only like 14,000 away from 100K. I want that play button.
Oh, let's go. Come on.
Get us there.
Slam it.
This season. I don't want to wait any longer. We are out of here, though. We appreciate y'all, and we'll talk to you on the next one.
We all silly like the mayor.